Hello and good morning. How are you? My name's Kerry Waring, and for those of you that don't know me, I'm a psychic medium soul coach, which means my work is a combination of psychic awareness, intuitive understandings, but with a real focus on the soul, and certainly, I connect you to your loved ones. And when I say it's a little bit of understanding of the soul, it's about, the soul's journey and the mechanics of how the soul manifests with the universe. That's predominantly what my work is about for those that don't know me. However, one of my passions, absolute passions, is education and teaching. And I've been teaching psychic development and spiritual awareness for more than probably about 18 years or so. It's one of my absolute passions. So today's Soul's Whispering Wednesday is on a really basic, or I don't want to say basic, but a real topic that really comes up for you when you are in the first throes of your spiritual journey. And that's about our signs and symbols. And I know for me, back in 1996, when this was happening for me, it was such an exciting time in my life. Just the whole increased sense of awareness and seeing the world through new eyes was such an exciting time, trying to work out and figure out what all the signs and the symbols meant. And I really sort of, even these days, I enjoy seeing people in that space because, one, I so remember it, it brings back memories for me, but also too, I know it's a transformative and exciting time in their life. So it's not going to be a long video today at all, but it's certainly one of those things that I just want to share with you a little bit more information on signs and symbols and understanding a little bit more about how that works and how you can make it more simple and easy for you. But really the whole thing is just to enjoy it, So generally when we do start to see signs and symbols, or universal signs and symbols coming into our awareness, it is really a matter of seeing the world through different eyes. One of the things that I would say to you is that if this is happening for you, what that means is that you're in alignment. Your vibration is in alignment with your heart's desires, and you're coming from a space of heart and soul. So you're walking your path in that way, because synchronicity, the signs, the coincidences, all of that happens when we're open-hearted, when we're in alignment. So when we're creating our life and moving forward with our life from that perspective of what's in our heart. So that's definitely one of the results of living from your heart, is the fact that you do experience more signs and symbols and that awareness in your life happening, and the universe sort of speaks to you through those channels. So, and then it becomes our job to understand them in a little bit more depth than what's the purpose behind them. So that would be the first thing, is to know that when you're experiencing the universe responding to you in that way, that you are coming from a deeper part of who you are. You're walking that path of love and what's in your heart, and the universe is responding to that. So that's part of the joy and the experience of it. And the more you experience that, the more, I actually call it God's lighted pathway, is that the universe's way, spirit, God, whatever you want to call that consciousness, it's the way of leading you forward. So I guess the thing to note then is the fact that if that's a little bit, if there's a drought in that way, if you're used to seeing signs, but dried up, you know, because not everyone operates from the same space that we do. Not everyone is aware of their signs and symbols and there's coincidences. But if you are someone that has had that experience, if that is a natural, normal part of your life, but then you seem to be in a space where it's drying up, where it's not happening and you're looking for them, then that would tell you that there's a little bit of a disconnection going on within your heart space. So that's just one thing to pay attention to. And then it's just a matter of reconnecting to that heart space. It just means that you've sort of headed down a path of not truly listening to the heart and not following through on the action of what your heart really desires. Because as I said, if you are in that space, then the universe does respond with the signs and symbols. So I want to say thank you to everyone that's joining. And of course, if you have any questions as I'm talking, please ask away. That's what I'm here for. So one of the things about signs and symbols that I really want to sort of explain to people is that we all have our own language of the soul. It's all very specific meanings to each and every one of us. So your interpretation of what that sign and symbol means is the only interpretation that matters. So, for example, one of the universal symbols of healing is snake. But for me, it actually represents fear because I'm scared of them. You know, so it's that kind of individuality that is really important when you're developing your vocabulary of meaning. So, and what I'm talking about here with signs and symbols applies to your dreams, your meditations, your psychic interpretations, and your external universal signs. So your interpretation of what it means is the only interpretation that really matters. You know, so if you have a sign, what does it mean to you? What does it really question it? You know, like what does snake mean to you, for example? You know, or if you see if you keep coming across rabbits, for example, I know someone on my page just last night was posting that they keep seeing rabbits. What does that mean to you? You know, because we know that rabbits are known for their reproductive prowess. However, could have a completely different meaning. It may be abundance. What does it mean to you personally is one of the questions that we should be thinking about and asking when it comes to interpreting our signs and symbols. The next thing I want to share with you and know about signs and symbols is that our language of the soul, our individual language of the soul, is really, I guess, we only need one dictionary, really. We don't need a series of meanings for what occurs in our dreams, what occurs in our meditations, what occurs in our psychic interpretations if we're doing readings and that kind of thing for others. You only need to know that what you're working with, those symbols will transfer. They will transfer from your dreams. They will transfer over to your meditations, and they will transfer over to any psychic work that you may be doing. We don't need a book for this and a book for that and, you know, a book for all of it. It's pretty much your language of the soul. So just know that one dictionary will work. So that's, you know, one dictionary will work, and that's how we build our vocabulary of meaning. You know, I even suggest to people to actually, in the early days, if this is what you're working on, keep a journal, keep a list, a record of your vocabulary of meaning so that you can expand on it. Because I know in my early days when I was developing my mediumship, you know, if I had the month number, which was like a 6, you know, I used to get the number 6, and that would either mean June or a house number or birth date or something like that. These days, though, I get, for the month, I'll get the name of the month. So 6 is no longer relevant for that. If it's a house number or something along those lines, I'll get a front door with it. So it does expand, it does grow. So just know that the signs and symbols are relevant all across. There's only one differentiation, and that I really should share with you, is that if you are a medium developing mediumship, and your mediumship interpretation of signs and symbols, pretty much if you're communicating with a loved one, those symbols will be literal. And a clear example is if a loved one that you're communicating with in the spirit world shows you a car, they mean a car. And if it's blue, they mean a blue car. Whereas if that information is actually coming through from the spirit world, it's more symbolic. Your spirit guides, for example, it'll be more symbolic. It'll be about your life's journey, for example. So that's one clear differentiation that needs to be made as well. So we have a question here from Cassandra. How can you see your signs when you're not sure what it is? I feel lost and don't know what is being shown to me. Okay, Cassandra. Firstly, I would say that I would trust in the fact that if you've asked for signs, trust that you are getting them. Trust that they are coming through. Again, I had someone, being that we've been talking about this on my page, someone yesterday was just saying that they were asked for a sign from their loved ones and from their mum, and within, you know, the day they had a feather appear. It's also too, Cassandra, it's also one of the things that I would say is write them down. Write your signs down. Put them in your journal if what you think is a sign. Because what would happen is you'll start to see patterns. You'll start to see patterns. You'll see the repetition of different signs, and that's how you'll come to know that what is your language of the soul. So I guess the other thing is that if you, as I was just sort of saying a little bit earlier with your signs, it's the meaning to you. It's what it means to you. And I'm happy for you if you have a specific sign that you want a little guidance or a little insight into what it could mean here, Cassandra. I'm happy for you to post and post in the comments what that sign is. And I can give you some examples of what the meaning may be, you know, and what it means for me and things like that. Totally happy to do that right now. But it really does, we do sort of need to just sort of go, okay, I'm seeing this. What would that symbolically represent to me? So it is that kind of experience. It's the language of the soul is a very personal experience once you get to know it. I do know. Okay, great, Cassandra. Yeah, keep track of it. You know, you'll see the patterns. The other thing that I found really helpful in my early days, and this was, again, back in 1996, is that there was one book that significantly helped me and significantly opened up my ability to develop my own language of the soul. And that book is called Signposts, The Universe is Whispering to You by Denise Lynn. Now, it's a book I have been recommending for over 20 years. And it's still available. I think it's got a new cover and all sorts of things, but I'm sure you'll find it on Amazon. What it does is it talks about the universe communicating to you, but it also then has a dictionary of meaning in the back. And you can do things like, you know, one symbol may have a few alternatives, and you can use your intuition to then sort of choose which symbol is resonating with you, which one feels like it's intuitively right for you. So it's a really good alternative, and I really suggest that if this is a new area of your life, that it's a great book to have on hand. Cassandra says thinking you haven't seen it. Okay, yes. Well, give it some attention, because what happens if you start tracking it, if you start thinking, okay, that's a sign, what you're doing is turning your focus and your attention to that area of your life, and you will start to become naturally more aware just by giving it that attention, and you'll start to pay attention and literally see more. So, so go with that, Cassandra. That will definitely help. Sharon says she wants to know what the meaning of a white horse is. Very prominent in her dreaming this morning. Okay. So there's a bit of, with things like a horse, there's a bit of a difference in what they can mean, you know. So a horse, and depending on what they're doing, so the fact that it's smiling was a great thing, you know. For me, horses can represent hard work, such as because they're used in the farms, you know, all of that sort of thing. I had a friend last week, I think, mentioned on my page when I first posted the symbol chart that horses for her represent freedom. And as I'm talking to you, Sharon, I actually feel a resonance in that. I feel a resonance in freedom for you. Now, the fact that they're white, white always indicates purity to me. It indicates a purity, clarity, you know. What does, I know that you're an intuitive, so what does white represent to you? Because that would be the thread of energy that's coming with this symbol. So so what was the horse doing besides smiling, you know? Was it running in a field? You know, all of those sort of behaviours then become relevant when we're actually trying to make that interpretation. So I hope that helped a lot, Sharon. Esther, I'm glad you've got that book. Oh, you're welcome, Cassandra. If you're new to it all, it's in every, as I said at the beginning, it's a really exciting time. And me and my girlfriend, we had the best time trying to go sit down and figure out what the symbols meant. I can even remember sitting outside on, I'm going back a few houses now, sitting outside in the back. My girlfriend was having a smoke, and we were wondering, looking at signs and wondering whether I was actually pregnant or not. And we had this beetle fly around us, you know, and so we got the book out and looked up what a beetle means, and because it was significantly, you know, just moving around us and really sort of it was noticeable, let's just say that. Anyway, it was, I think from memory, beetles represent happiness and joy and all that sort of stuff. And we sort of said to ourselves, right, if that be the door to my house, we were out on the back patio type of thing, the door to the house was open. And we said to one another, okay, if that beetle goes in the door inside, then we know truly it's a sign, and to take that. So we were testing things, but at same time, I tend to laugh about it now. but that beetle went inside, you know. It totally went inside that night, and we're having such fun, and just was like, oh wow, you know, that sort of excitement, seeing how the universe works. And yes, if I wasn't pregnant then, I was pregnant not too long after, because that certainly was very indicative of that. And because I think from memory, I also had dreams around that time about pearls, and in the signpost books, that's what they mean. So yes, it was a very exciting time just learning all of that stuff. Okay, Sharon, so it means horses mean freedom to you as well. It was being ridden in the surf. So I would say freedom, however, being that it's in the water, it's in the surf, it would be freedom from your emotions. You know, so freedom from your emotions is so just walking that path, and I guess the freedom and the result of it, and the clarity coming with, I really feel clarity for you around that white energy. So that's a really exciting dream to have. So so beautiful. Cassandra, Trish got me onto you, and isn't Trish gorgeous? You know, I'm assuming you're talking about Trish McLaughlin. And or would it be, could be Trish over in South Australia, because I've got a couple of Trishas that I would know. Both of them are just gorgeous. Both of them have different meaning in my life, but both have both beautiful, wise, gorgeous women. So yes, yeah, so I guess just let me just recap about your signs and symbols, I guess, you know. So we just to summarize what we've been talking about, is that basically signs naturally occur when you are coming from your heart. So when you're creating from that space, when you're tapped into your heart space and your heart is in alignment with your actions and what you're doing moving forward. So that means, just quickly, that if there is any drought, then if there's any stop where that has stopped happening for you, it means there's a disconnection going on. So yes, your interpretation is the only meaning that matters, really. So always question and ask, what does that sign mean to me? What can it symbolically mean? And it's okay that yours is different from what is known generally or universally, or what is accepted as a meaning. It's your language of the soul, so remember that. It means that there is a difference between, a slight difference between if you're working with loved ones, their signs and symbols you take literally, compared to working with spirit guides, the universe, they will be more symbolic. However, you only need one language, one meaning, one interpretation for all of your dreams, meditations, psychic interpretations. So we don't need to have a whole collective of different books or different meanings. One yellow daffodil for us here in Australia can quite easily represent Cancer because of the marketing, and I know that that's what happens for me because of Yellow Daffodil Day. However, to someone else, it may, if it's something in their culture, could have a completely different meaning. The recommended book to help expand your signs and symbols is Signposts by Denise Lynn. The Universe is Whispering to You. Available on Amazon, and with that you can't go wrong. So yes, Trish, Horseman from Cassandra. Yes, that's Trish over in South Australia. So just gorgeous. And it's nice that people are sort of spreading the word a little bit and supporting me in that way. So please pass on my thanks to Trish. And certainly, so as I said, just a quick video this morning about signs and symbols, helping you to understand that topic a little more. Of course, I'm celebrating with you the fact that if you're in that space, of course, by all means, for those of you that don't catch the live stream but may watch this as an archive, by all means, I'm still happy to answer your questions. So please don't be shy in posting them, that's for sure. By all means do that. And just lastly, I've had a life change where it's freed up some of my schedule. So the great thing is that I'm back to being able to do weekly live streams with Soul Whispering Wednesdays. So, so if you have any topics, anything that you want me to discuss, helping you broaden your knowledge and your understanding, then by all means drop me a line, post a question, and let's bring it to the table. So anyway, have a great week, everyone, and God bless you, and thanks for dropping by.